This is Service Farm Lab experimenting with patterns in fieldwork and evaluating the impact on efficiency. I've been curious which is the most efficient pattern when working a field: up, down, left, right, or a spiral. As you're here, you have been wondering the same. I did some experiments, found some expected results, some unexpected ones, and some surprises. I'll be going through how I set up the experiment and what method and considerations I used, how I conducted the experiment, what the immediate results are, what the normalized results are, and what my conclusions are. Let's get started. There are multiple operations when working a field to which the patterns can be applied. In principle, the issue is the number and shape of the turns. There are multiple ways to handle the turns. I'm not going to evaluate all options against each other, as this comes down to fine-tuning. This experiment is about the comparison of the patterns. As such, I'm choosing the harvesting step. I'm going to use soybeans as a relatively low yield fruit type to reduce the number of tank emptyings. I'm also using a mid-size harvester to allow the pattern to be the dominant factor. I'm using a very powerful tractor and large trailer for hauling the harvest to minimize the impact of tank emptying. I created 3 fields, one squarish one long and slim, one irregular. All have more or less obstructions on the edges. Lastly, I set up 3 identical new harvesters, one for each field. I'm going to reload a previously saved away version of the game to start each experiment on each field at the exact same state in the game. Same day, same harvest, same growth, 3 clones to compare the patterns. I'm setting the time scale to 15 times and will be using the in-game time to measure. Each experiment will start at 9 o'clock in the morning on the same day to create as similar as possible conditions. I'm first going through the up-down pattern on all 3 fields, followed by the left-right pattern and the spiral one. Interestingly, the results are very consistent on the squarish field. As expected, the penalty on the thin, long field with going left-right are very noticeable. What surprised me here a bit is how much a penalty the spiral takes on this one. On the irregular shaped one, at first glance, the left-right being better than the up-down sounds like an arrow. But think about it with this shape. The up-down makes a lot of small segments out of the field that are very inefficient. The left-right in this shape does not see this penalty. By the way, the reduced output in the up-down pattern on the irregular field is because I ran into the field a bit when setting up. I did not expect it to have this big of an impact, as it was only a very minor corner. My fault. I used the amount of seed used to plant each field as a close proxy for the area of the field. Using this as a factor to normalize for a factor of one field allows to compare the field shapes against each other combined with the patterns used. In this, we see that the long slim field with the up-down pattern is most efficient, followed closely by the irregular with the spiral pattern, followed by the left-right pattern. The irregular with the up-down pattern and the squarish one with all three patterns are very close together. The slim field in the left-right and spiral pattern are distinctively last. This leads me to conclude that selecting a pattern that allows for the longest continuous path is the most efficient. On an irregular field, this means most likely a spiral or a direction that does not cut the field into segments. If you can, create long slim fields. On a squarish field, it does not really matter. One advantage of the spiral pattern is, assuming you're going clockwise, that the discharge pipe always is over the already harvested area. One consideration this experiment does not make is, for example, when seeding, to continue driving forward and do a 270-degree turn to work the field in a spiral. This maneuver would eliminate the forward stop backward stop forward and replace it with a continuous smooth forward motion. Much more fluid, and with the right equipment, much faster speeds. Let me know in the comments what other questions you have or other experiments you'd like to see. This is Savi's Farm Lab, experimenting with patterns in field work, no more. Till next time, peace.